What's up, everybody? I'm Roadblock, and we are here on the free-to-play account. So I wanted to give you guys a big update. Basically, give you guys a definitive look at all of the progress we've made on the account, because I haven't really done that in a while. I've been doing a lot of like little short onesie-twosie offhand videos here. Um, we haven't really had a chance to look at the individual components of the game and see where we're progressing and where we're short and what we need to do to find success. So, let's take a look. We're going to start from right to left. Now, Cursed City, this is as far as I can make it on hard, and this is as far as I can make it on normal. This should not be a surprise. And I want to reiterate this to you guys who may be on newer accounts or maybe on old accounts, but just don't have the champion pool to complete this. That is the limiting factor. It's not your skill. It's not the how your gear. It's the champions that you have. If you don't have the right champions, you just can't do the content. It's that simple. It's unfortunate. I mean, I wouldn't say it's unfortunate. I think the important thing to remember is that Cursed City is end game content. This is the most difficult content that exists in the game, and they've, in order to keep it difficult, they've had to nerf rosters, basically. Which, without getting into a whole video about the Cursed City, I think is a good thing. A prime example of that will be the next area that we look at. Doom Tower. Now, to reiterate, this account is 130-something days old, maybe 140 days old now. I've kind of lost track, to be honest, but as you can see, in Doom Tower Normal, I am making great progress. And you may ask yourself, well, your account is so young. How are you so far in Doom Tower? And because I got lucky as hell with my summons. If you're new to the channel, we've got Ultimate Death Knight was our first legendary that we pulled from shards. We started with a stacked epic in Deacon Armstrong. One of our first epic Void champions was Ursula, who's a great reviver, great support champion in general. Geomancer, I'm going to just go ahead and call him the best epic in the game. Feel free to come at me in the comments if you think there's somebody better, but in my opinion, best epic in the entire game. We got Allure, who is a Fire Knight specialist, but, I mean, made it so easy. We'll talk about that in a second. My point is, this account is stacked. But it's stacked with very few number of champions, right? A very focused group of champions that's able to come into hard content like the Doom Tower and find instant success. Not everybody has that, right? But how do you avoid that? How do you prevent your game from being broken by one champion? Well, you don't let them in the friggin' event. You don't let them in the area, right? So by limiting rosters, they have made it something that is a progression thing. It also makes you have to think about other characters to use. So again, this is not a video about that area, the Cursed City, but more of an update about what we're doing. So if you can notice my avatar here in the game, I have previously done Doom Tower Normal on this account. Again, in big part due to the strength of my roster early on, but huge resources in here. Now, I have not done this particular difficulty yet, but we are trending in that direction. Very surprised that we were able to get past floor 70 Nether Spider. If I'm honest with you guys, I expected to fall quite short against the Nether Spider, mostly because I don't have a cleanser. Thankfully, we can just survive it with Ultimate Death Knight shields. So, yay, Ultimate Death Knight. The rebuild that we did on him has been paying dividends. Let's talk Clan Boss now. Hydra. We're able to get the first chest. Happy with that. No complaints. Is it anything huge numbers or anything? No. We're able to get the first chest. We're able to work our way towards Mithrala. That's all I'm looking to do on the account for now. until I get a legitimate taunt champion. And when I say a legitimate taunt champion, I mean probably some of the ones that are in the event right now. But we're talking a Molly, Bivald, maybe Martyr. I don't know if it's Taragi. Vogoth, kind of, although I've used Vogoth in my Hydra runs before, and it's just not. Yeah, for me, I didn't find real long, like big number success in Hydra until I got a Molly, or somebody in that level of taunt, like a places taunt, potential for 2 turns. That way they don't have to be insanely fast, or you can't use the rest of their kit. You could just get them taunting, right? So. Now again, that could be a shortfall on my part, but until I got Molly, I wasn't really finding massive success in Hydra. Um, I think the biggest thing we need right now is a cleanser. We kind of have heals. Well, that's the other thing. We don't really have a healer. We have Reviver. We have Buffer. We have a little bit of healing from Ultimate Death Knight, but that's not enough. We don't have AoE Leech, therefore it's hard to get a ton of health back, and the leech off of Deacon is still somewhat inconsistent on Hydra too. So, finding a massive amount of success in Hydra will come. I think we just need a couple more champions to get there. Demon Lord, nothing has changed there. We are a 3-key nightmare. Brutal is very hit or miss. We missed again today with 18 million on Brutal instead of the required 21.6. I know I've been teasing the rework of my team, and unfortunately I'm still teasing it. I do apologize for that, guys. It is a work in progress. He's 6 stars. We're building, we're working towards him. I'm really excited to get him leveled up because he is built so well. We have the gems ready for his masteries. The only thing he might be considered short on is attack. And that's a lot to do with the gear available on the account. As you can see, I don't really have a lot of attack banners, but excited to get to use him. I really, really am. I'm working on it, guys. You just trust me, okay? So, that's Clan Boss, right? Nothing's changed. Arena. Tag Team Arena. In the Bazaar. Getting our Fragments. So I'm going to give an update on Fragments here in a second. But in Tag Team Arena, we're Bronze 2. Almost, midway Bronze 3. That's kind of where I want to be. You can see these teams are a little bit difficult right now. I won all of my battles this evening in Tag Team Arena, which is why this refreshed with the whole thing, but you can see I have no keys. So the power level, like in this range, like the beginning of Bronze 2 kind of difficulty is achievable for my teams, but beyond that it's not. It's really hard to progress. First of all, by the way, if you're struggling in Tag Team Arena, just like we talked about City of Centranos, please understand that Tag Team Arena is not easy. It is not meant to be easy. It took me forever to get into Silver on Tag Team Arena, and I'm only now Silver 4, I think, going into Silver. I might be Silver 5 on my main account in Tag Team Arena. The reason I bring that up is because that account, my main account, is crazy stacked, and yet I'm still having trouble getting into gold of Tag Team Arena. It is a difficult area to progress. A lot of people just don't even do it, which makes it somewhat harder to progress because the people who are doing it are serious about it and building really good teams in there instead of just throwaway teams. And so you can find yourself struggling in Tag Team Arena. It will come with time. The most important thing for a new account is to keep doing it regardless of how many points you get, just so you can farm these champion fragments for Drexstar. Right now, I do not have any AoE HP burn champions. Drexstar brings burns. Now he doesn't like bring an outright AoE HP burn, but he does bring burn if he gets hit, right? Uh this is important because he makes a good with his provoke debuff right here. He makes a good spider tank, and he can light the spiders on fire, which can then burn the spider down. So it's an option. It's not an ideal option. And he has other uses, by the way. He's just a good HP burn champion. But that's the first one that comes to mind because it's a weak area that we're going to talk about here in a second. Classic Arena. We're doing great. Gold 3. Couldn't ask for better. When you consider how young the account is and the fact that my clan boss team, my arena team hasn't changed in a while. It is the same team. I keep talking about making a change with Kale, and I do want to. I would love to be able to use a bigger AoE nuker other than Kale. Rathalos certainly comes to mind. Wait, sorry. Rathalos certainly comes to mind in that area. Ray is another one I could use. Herndig is another one I could use. But I'm also of the mind, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this ain't broke. Oh, by the way, the only reason I totally forgot UDK is on this team right now. If I'm being completely honest, I can't believe I did all those battles today with UDK on there. This is still my arena team. UDK was in there for a mission, or for a, I think it was one of the quests for the pass, the Forge Pass. So that's the only reason he was in there. So don't be misled. Don't get me wrong. He does make for a great character, but I recently did a takeover where I talked about this, that if you have these back and forth battles that can take 5 minutes, right, where you're just edging them out and you're just slowly out damaging the other until finally somebody breaks, right? It's just a waste. I mean, you got the win, but what did you had a waste a whole 5 minutes, or maybe sometimes 7-10 minutes, right, can go by before a winner is finally had. It's just take the L, and refresh, and then get a bunch of easy wins, be done with arena for the day, and go back to doing other stuff in the game. So that's my take on it. That's maybe a discussion for another time, but I do like having this speed team that is focused around my DPS champions. So, but it's good to know that if I just sub in Ultimate Death Knight, he gets the job done easily enough and can get me that mission completion. Oh wait, I lost to that team. I was down here. Give you guys a little sneak peek of how the team works. I know you guys have seen it before, but I also have to lock in the team, or else I'll forget next time I run it. Yeah, so absolute hard-hitting devastation. Love the team. And yeah, gold 3. And that's, I mean, I know people, again, in my own clan that are struggling to get out of silver. A lot of it is gear. I do have a big head start on gear because of those great events that we had early on. But overall, the big advantage, of course, is building the team the right way. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Making sure, I mean, having Deacon, therefore I'm faster than the enemy team. Having a great increased attack, having a decreased attack, a decreased defense. The only other thing I'd want would be weaken, So, anyways, Arena's going great. Faction Wars is a big weak spot on my account, and it's actually quite punishing. If we were to take a look, High Elf, for example, you'll see I'm nowhere near getting these legendary resources in order to craft the higher level of perception gear. Now, my biggest star count, I think, is Bannerlord, which makes sense. But I think Sacred Order is where I have the most progression. I know it might be both of them. Who do I? Oh, because I have Ursula. No, Ursula's not progressed as far, but I think we get more stars on that difficulty. But I think the Sacred Order, we've progressed further because we have some really good champions. We've got Deacon, and then it might be Night Elf actually. So I was gonna say Sacred Order. We have Deacon and we have Armiger. Right. So Sacred Order, Deacon, and Armiger. For Dark Elves, we do have Ray now and Kale. That could probably get us a little bit farther. Knights Rev, we only have one. Same with Lizard Men, we only have one person for that, and so we are falling quite short in certain areas. Now, Orcs, I'd like to see get some success moving forward. Once Seer is built, provided I can keep her alive, we'll be able to progress pretty heavily through our faction wars. So that's what I'm looking forward to as we go on. But it is a weakness, and it's one that I regret some of my decisions, right? Because I would love to be further along so that I can craft more perception gear. If I wanted to craft perception gear right now, I could do 5 pieces. And you want more than that. And so to do that, I need to get further in faction wars. I think a big area that I could really gain some traction would be dwarves. So the dwarf crypt, if I look at the dwarf faction, sorry guys, it's late. Geomancer, Herndig, Cornelia, and Morag. All of these, it is Morag, right? Yeah. All 4, and even Fire Gun is a pretty like this is a good faction wars team right here, and I feel like I could make some headway if I was to prioritize this. Now the main priority is still for me Clan Boss, which I'm slacking on, but we're gonna get there over time. But when the time comes to focus on faction wars, I think I can make big progress in the dwarves, get me a lot of resources from down here, and hopefully use those the right way. Also, getting myself potentially much more gear. I don't know what drops off out of dwarves. I don't know if it's perception, the bloodstone, or if it's the Willstone. So I don't know which one is in the dwarf crypt. I wish there's probably a way to tell, and I just don't know what it is. But yeah, no, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So either way, we have progress to make there. Dungeons. Doing really good on dungeons. Really happy with the progress. So Ice Golem is 16. For Ice Golem, we could really use a block revive. Armiger perhaps could fill that role. But we need some heals. Healing is a big part of it. The other thing I could do is if I decide to pull the trigger and build a Geomancer team, we could go that route as well. In order to go that route, I would need to turn off War Master on a lot of champions that I'm not yet prepared to turn War Master off on. But it's not a necessity. It's just going to make things easier by allowing Geomancer to do what he does best, and keeping him alive while we do so. Another option that is potentially coming up would be... Nope. Oh, I already got her. Dark Elhain. I forgot that I had already pulled her. Dark Elhain is an option. She is good, but she is not as good, to my understanding. I've never used her. Her skill set reads very well for Fire Knight, or sorry, for Ice Golem. Instantly removes any freeze debuff on this champion and replaces it with crit rate and crit damage. Huge. And a strengthen, right? So that's huge. It fills her turn meter and activates Death Majesty whenever her or an ally are frozen, which will give her Death Majesty, which hits hard, right? So anytime that the Ice Golem freezes, we just hit back at him. The kit reads well, but the reviews that I've read have been slightly mixed too. And when I say that I've read, I'm referring to Hell Hades and stuff. I think what does Hell Hades rate her for? And again, I'm not saying that it's gospel. I've never tried it, and I was hesitant to try it when I saw that 4.5 on Ice Golem. Okay, maybe I don't know where I saw it. Maybe it was a Yumi Love, maybe it was somewhere else. But I remember I long time ago could not solve Ice Golem, and I was like, how do Ice Golem? And there I thought, oh, Dark Elhain will be the secret, and then I had other champions that ranked higher than she did, and I went with that route. So Dark Elhain could be the solution to Ice Golem moving forward. And I will certainly take a look at building her out when the time comes. We've talked about many different little projects and areas that we need to work on, so she's a little bit down the line. Let me know your thoughts on Dark Elhain in the comments. Again, I've just not used her in Ice Golem. Did it work for you, or did it not? I want to know. That way I know if it's worthwhile for my investment. Okay, because on paper, it looks great, right? All right, let's talk about Dragon Slayer. We're good in Dragon Slayer. One thing that I want to reiterate that I feel is lost on a lot of people, because I just covered this again in the account takeover that I did. If you can do Demon Lord, you can do Dragon. They're very similar skill set bosses. Big hitting AoEs. AoE stun here instead of a single target stun. But he's a lot slower, so he'll stun you and you'll still, all the stuns will go off, but you generally either take a small hit or get another turn. So if you can do Clan Boss, you can do Dragon. And that's important because Dragon does have some of the best gear in the game, especially early game, with speed gear, lifesteal gear, etc. So you want to get your champions in here. You want to get this to stage 20. Allow yourself to get the top end of the gear, 5 to 6 stars, and get those big points for events. Fire Knight. This one is, of course, on the backs of Allure. If I didn't have Allure, I don't have a solution to Fire Knight. And I'm not saying that there isn't one without Allure. You've got champions like Fenshi out there. I tried to show you guys Armiger's an option. Counterattack teams with, smaller decreased turn meter, effects can be used, that kind of stuff. There are a lot of champions and a lot of ways to find success against Fire Knight. But Allure is the easiest, and we pulled her. It is what it is, right? Sand Devils, we've gotten very, very mild success. Haven't done it in a while. Phantom Shogun, never tried it. Interested for sure, but I do know that I'm going to have high blessings, and I do know that I'm going to need niche champions for some of those areas. We don't have it yet. Maybe once in a while I'll do a a turn attack event. I probably should have done the one that just passed to get a free summon from the Prism Crystals, but I didn't. So, where am I weakest? Spider's Den. Spider's Den, unless I can get a Cold Heart or a single target turn meter reduction or a really good spider tank, UDK is great for a spider tank. Absolutely great for a spider tank. But I don't have the gear to make him as great as he should be. Namely, because I can't do spider. I would love for him to be built out in heavy resistance, as well as heavy defense. Unfortunately, I don't really have the gear to get him the kind of resistance that he needs to keep those poisons off. I would need to rework him as well, and I like him in War Master to get some extra boss damage out of him, especially since I plan on using him in... I'm going to experiment with him in Clan Boss. So once I finally get around to trying all these different teams that I want to try and seeing which one works, that will let me decide how I move forward with Ultimate Death Knight. If I go forward building him as tanky as he is, but also with very, very high resist, then he'll be a great spider tank. Because if I had a cleanser, he's a great spider tank. And I have one. I've got the Reliquary Tender, but I'm not prepared to build her up yet. So until we kind of see what other cleansers and such that we can get, right? But Reliquary Tender is a viable option, and I may very well need to get around to building her soon. Until that time, we're kind of stuck. Cold Heart would be a solution because Cold Heart brings a huge decreased turn meter ability as well as a huge damage output for the clan boss. And that would be very, very big, or not clan boss, for Spider. And that would be very, very big to get us through, because right now our only tactic is killing the spiders. The other side, the other way to beat it, would be AoE HP burns. And straight up AoE HP burn like Mordecai, Ultimate Gaelic, yeah. Any of those champions, you know, where we can get a big HP burn on all of the spiders and then throw in a tank. It doesn't even need to live. We just need a spider tank and let those spiders kill the boss themselves. So that's where we are on the big dungeons. With the keeps. I mean, we're decently. I haven't really fiddled with the keeps. I kind of progress in the keeps when I need potions. You know, it's like, oh, I need potions. All right, let's do magic keep. Oh, that one was really easy. Can I keep going? And then I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going. So, Iron Twins has been going great. I do want to check and see if we can progress a little bit further. So, the team that I'm going with, again, I have a concept for a team that I would love to do that's built around Geomancer. But this is the team I've got all my damage mitigation right here. I've got 2 damage mitigation champions right here. I've got shields and continuous heals. I have a reviver plus decreased or increased defense and strengthen. And we have speed. Now, this is a difficulty that I've not done, so this may fail. But I figured I'd give it an experiment just to see where we are at. Sorry, guys, I've been talking for 30 minutes. Needed a drink, and I clicked over to find out how long 30 minutes was, and that muted the game volume, so. That's pretty good damage reduction there. what we also lack for a Geomancer team is a way to extend those buffs as well. If we can find a way to extend those HP burns, that'll make a big difference. Because right now, we're taking a lot of extra turns here, letting the boss ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, because we don't have the HP burn on the boss right now. It's back on now, and then you should see, well, see, he takes it right off. And so, and then we take a massive hit. We don't have our revive on off cooldown, and we've got probably 2 more turns before we have that HP burn back up. HP burn itself is not the damage. The deflection, the deflect damage that we get, or reflex damage that we get from Geomancer is what we need, and that only applies when he's under a Geomancer HP burn. I laughed just now because I realized 20 minutes later that I was calling it taunt again when we were talking about provoke champions that are available in the event right now. I don't know why that popped in my head, but it did. Well, hey, so we made some progress, right? This is something that you kind of want to keep in mind. It's very easy to sit there and say, well, stage 6, it works. I'll just keep farming that and not really try to test the boundaries. But I will say that this is likely not a 100% farm. And I would recommend finding that niche 100% farm spot. You know, maybe it's stage 5, maybe it's stage 6, or maybe it's stage 3. But try to conserve your energy. If this didn't cost energy, if it was just these keys, push as hard as you can every time. That's probably why they put the energy in there, so you're not just like down here at a, you know, a 1 in 10 chance to clear stage 15 and you just let it run for 3 hours and infinite. I've done that in other areas of the game. So, but that's where we're at in dungeons, right? And I think I'm happy with where we're at in the Iron Twins. We are gaining a lot of resources. You can see here we've already got 13,000. That's 13 more Mortal Soul Stones that we have ready to go for the next tournament or event revolving around those. So excited about that. What else? Dungeons, campaign. I haven't bothered to go back in and do any Nightmare campaign. You can see we did progress quite a ways through it a long time ago. We could probably come back in here with the gear set we have now and make progress to get this Sacred. It's important to keep that in mind next time there is a 2x on Sacred. I may go into Nightmare and use some extra energy and get that extra Sacred so that we can pull it for that 2x event. For right now, though, there's no rush, no urgency. We have more important things to do. Let's see. I think that's everything. Live Arena, I don't do on this account. I don't do it on my main account either. Unfortunately, until they decide to make this always active, there's no way for me to do it. There just isn't. I'm, you know, like right now, right this second, as I'm recording a video, I'm ready. I could do Live Arena right now. I'm 2.5 hours away from it. It ain't happening, right? So I understand why they did it. I think they underestimate their player base. I think that they underestimate the way that they could just use bots. But, you know, and when I say use bots, I mean for filler in like different difficulties. I'm not saying it's right, but if you've ever played like a competitive card game, you've probably played a bot at some point. It wouldn't surprise me. I hope it's not always necessary, but it would not surprise me if I played a bot or two. So, okay. That is where the account stands. Let's talk fragments. We have Yannicka, 90 out of 100. 2 weeks away from Yannicka. Drexstar Blood Twin, we are 22 days away from Drexstar. Great. Yakarl, halfway through. I probably am every other week on Yakarl. That will change, of course, once we get Yannicka, because then we don't have to put the fragments into Yannicka. We can put them only into Yakarl and move forward that way. The rest of these aren't that important. Archmage Helmet, which is from Secret Rooms in Doom Tower, making great progress on. Seriously. A great champion, especially now that we have Seer. I don't know why didn't mean to click that. I meant to click this. Triple buffs, increased speed, increased crit rate, and increased crit damage. All of these are buffs that you want on your Seer. But it also just amps up her damage because that's a lot of buffs on the team. Also get some turn meter. It fills his turn meter. I thought that was turn meter reduction. But we get some AoE stun, immune to turn meter decreasing effects. Like, decent, really, really solid champion. Archmage Helmet is a great champion. We're going to have him over time. Probably a little ways away still, but we're getting there. Mithrala, just under halfway. One of the top champions in the game. One of my favorite champions in general. Love the aesthetics. Love the kit. Love the petrification ability. Great for Tag Team Arena. Great for Faction Wars. That would it cleanse. Not only a cleanse, but also cleanse with strengthen and shields. Both increased defense and increased attack, plus hex, which we need. I mean, just overall, amazing champion that we would be happy to get. So we are making progress there. And everything else is stuff that we'll probably never end up getting. They're leftover fragments from other small events that we did when they were available. Okay. Shards. Finally gaining a bit of a stockpile again. We've got 25 Ancients. We just came off of a 2x Ancients not that long ago. I'm finally able to resist the 2x chases, trying to go after Taragi and all those things that I've done. Being patient, or not 2x, sorry, the progressive chance is what I meant to say. Waiting for the next 2 times chance and seeing what we can get. Now let's talk resources. I realize we're already at 30 minutes, almost done, truly almost done, but I wanted to analyze the resources on the account a little bit. We have energy for days and days and days. We got plenty of energy. This is huge. Very, very valuable for an account like this because we are probably ready to do a fusion. Now, ideally, I would like to be on level 20 of every dungeon. We are not, but we are ready to do a fusion. Now, I want to be clear that I'm going to do a good fusion. Well, what defines a good fusion? A good fusion, if you're looking at the past, right at the first one that you think of is Newt. This was a fusion champion. I think he was a traditional fusion champion, if I'm not mistaken. Absolute boss. If we were to see Newt 2.0, instant, let's go get that champion. Let's go fuse that champion. Right? And again, I'm going to use recent fusions because those are the ones that I did and that I went for. Another one that would be amazing, Mighty Uko, would be, a support champion in... I'm not saying we're going to get these, right? I'm saying these types. This is the level of champion that is a great fusion. Bambus, not a great fusion. Loriaka, not a great fusion. Those aren't gonna redefine the account. I think, was Gwendolyn a fusion, or did we get her through other means? I feel like we got her through... No, we got her through card flips. Nishak was a fusion champion. Great fusion champion, by the way. Um, trying to think of who else was a. I mean, well, you could even consider. I mean, she was a fusion. Supreme Elhane. I would, if they were to offer a good PvP nuker, I would accept. I would jump on that. Lonatharl, however you want to say his name. I think a lot of people slept on him when he was made as a fusion, but I think, yeah, he has a all ally uh, attack. I don't know why I can't think of what we usually call those abilities. Uh, is it just ally attack? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my brain. It's late. I'm tired. Uh, yeah, he's an ally attack champion, and very very valuable for that reason. If we don't have it, right? Also, interesting kind of mechanic there, and I've heard some good things about him. I know a lot of people slept on him early, and said that he wasn't great, but his reviews are, as you can see, not great. But I'm hearing that he may have been better than initially perceived. The kit was relatively basic for compared to other fusions, but it's my understanding that he's a lot better than people thought, and I would say that for our account, a champion of that caliber would be good. We'd love an ally attacker. So, um, just kind of giving you an idea. I'd probably even go for a Jetney, if I'm honest. Now, I don't use the Jetney that I did go after, but on this account, we could probably use something along the lines of a Jetney. So, we will see. We should have a fusion coming up here pretty soon. It's all going to depend on how it's laid out, what the requirements are, because we do not have the resources to participate in a summon rush event. We may have the resources to participate in a champion chase event, but not a summon rush. That's a lot of shards, and we don't really have the sacreds to pull that off. So, uh, that's our biggest shortfall. But if they make it, if it's the type of fusion where those are not mandatory to do, we would likely be able to overcome those shortfalls. If it is something where we would need to do those events in order to find success, then we will have to wait until a future fusion and save up more shards for that. And that's frustrating because you really just want to pull them during those 2x events. So, okay. Well, that's everything going on the account. What is next in the immediate future for the account? Rathalos leveled up. That is next. So, I think my quest is for campaign battle 7 times. We're going to go do that with Rathalos. Oops, I'm on Nightmare. uh, and as you can see, he is in there. I am trying to get him leveled, trying to get him built. He's built. That's the thing. He is built. He is already built. In fact, you'll probably see him do some damage here in a second because he's going to be fast. That's an impressive hit. That's an impressive hit against negative. I'm going to watch that again. That's a very impressive hit against a negative affinity. Okay? These are all spirit champions that he's hitting here. Yeah, you'll see there he got the weak hits. But, and he's only level 29. Right? Like, he is not the full version of himself. So, and not even crit capped. He's technically 94 crit cap right now, but he's nearly one-shotting these champions, which, only my very, very well-built Sun Wukong is capable of doing at the moment. So, damn, that was impressive from Blade Master. He is built well. Definitely built well. So, Just got to get him leveled up. I think he's going to be the difference maker. I think at the very least we might be able to get to a 2 key as long as we do something with Rathalos. So just going to take some time to get there with the minimal amount of playing that I'm doing on the account. That being said, the great news and the reason that this video is so much longer, if you've made it this far, thank you for the support. The great news is that it is break time on the main account. What does that mean? The main account will still continue to get its dailies done, but I am tapped out on resources and I'm tapped out on patience on that account. So, the next fusion, I ain't going for it. Fragment summon or not, it ain't happening on my main account. Which is good news for the free-to-play, because I could go for it on the free-to-play and not have to worry about losing time on the main account. I've also learned a lot of new tricks. Recently, I've been experimenting a lot more with RSL Helper. Now, I've talked about not wanting to use RSL Helper to gain too much of an advantage, but as I'm getting more familiar with it, if you are a PC player, I highly recommend it. It is frustrating because when they do updates, you may be without it for several days, and sometimes you become dependent on it. However, when it is available and you can use it, it is a great tool. It actually lets me play all 3 of my accounts at once and plays them for me. And I mean, the amount that it would do, it would sell gear for me, it would put in champions for me, everything that you can kind of do with the multi-battles and the auto sell feature in the game, you can do it with RSL Helper, but it's better. And that's a big reason why I was able to get Alatreon, or Alatreon, however you say it, in this most recent event. And that drained me and kind of broke me a little bit because I had to put so much friggin' effort into it. And I'm going to take a bit of a break from the main account. Not anything crazy, not anything where I'm not going to play it, but I'm not going for the events. I'm not going for fusions. I'm not we went from the Tormund fusion, then we had a Fragment event, and then we had the Gwendolyn event, and now we're just on, it's I haven't had a chance to breathe in that game, and quite frankly, we're probably going to find out about a fusion next week if I had to guess. So I am very happy to take a break from the constant grind on the main account, skip a fusion, relax, just rest on the progress that I've made. I haven't even been doing City of Centranos on that account because I can't. I don't have the mental capacity to push this new content right now. I'm very tapped out on the main account, but that's a benefit to this account and the free to play challenge account. If you are looking for the free to play challenge account video, there will not be one today. I don't have anything new to report, and rather than make a half-assed video talking about the free to play challenge account, I am going to make some real progress and then get back to everybody. So expect one soon, but not tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support. I want to continue to bring high quality raid content that keeps you guys educated, keeps you guys informed, and helps find ways to overcome the many challenges of raid. I feel like, personally, lately, I haven't been living up to that. I feel like I've just been making videos and talking out of my ass for 30 minutes and then uploading them. This is the kind of content I want to make. I want to teach, I want to educate, I want to talk about the account and show you guys how far I have progressed and where I can find value to progress more. So, I am rededicating myself to better content for the future. Thank you for all of the support. Thank you for all of the kind words while I tried to figure this all out. I look forward to the next video, and I will see you there.